Hi, guys. I just need to find myself on the iPad so I can see your comments. Hang on. Give me a second. I'm not finding myself. That's going to be a problem. Hear my dog barking? He's just going crazy. And I'm glad to see that the picture is, the words are the right way, because it was like flipped this way a second ago. Okay, I just need to watch my own broadcast on my iPad, and I need to figure out how to find myself. Just, that sounds bad, doesn't it? Let's see. So if I go to my channel, why is my live broadcast not coming up? Shouldn't it be? That's going to be a problem. Hey, Maria. Hey, Michelle. So I'm going to my channel, and I'm not finding myself. I know it's probably me. It's operator error. I know it is. It's operator error. Oh my God, dog, shut up. It's the gardener. It should actually come up right up here because I follow myself. I know that sounds bizarre, but I'm going to take the iPad to the desk. Look in your subscriber feed. Okay. Let's see. There I am. Hey, there I am. Yay, found it. Indulgence. Oh, well, wait. We don't need the sound on there. Let's turn the sound off. And let's get the chat up. There we go. Yay, found it. Ah, yay. And of course, as soon as I turn the camera on, the gardeners would decide to start working on the yard next door, and my dog hates gardeners. just he absolutely hates them. All right, I've got a lot of stuff on my desk again. Let's see. So we're going to work on our book again, and I think Michelle, who is one of my admins, and she's here, and I came up with a good name for this book. So Product Review Swatch Book. Now, make sure you fast forward yourself on iPad. I'm not that far behind. The lag time on the picture from what I'm seeing and what I'm doing is not that. It's only about 30 seconds. All right. So we're calling this a product review swatch book, and we are going to be doing this on a few different products. I'm going to, of course, be doing the watercolor. I have a lot of them. And I think Michelle's working on one with different products. This is a great thing to do if you're curious about any particular product. Watercolor, of course, pencils, pens. You could do one for acrylic paint, inks, and get together with your friends and do sort of a swatching party, and have them bring, the products that you don't have so you can try them and compare them, and you can make a more educated decision about what to buy, rather than doing what most of us do, which is just you take a class and then you think you have to buy whatever it is that they say, and then after you've bought it and spent money on it, you realize you don't like it. And that was kind of the premise behind this whole thing. I'm drinking coffee. Okay, this morning, before we get started, I wanted to show those of you who were with me on, Michelle's saying too, her initial video is live. I actually did watch it this morning, where she talks about the first round of products that she got in, that she is reviewing and going to be adding to her book. Hey, Barbie. Going over to Lady Blue Studios and check it out, because she's doing a great job. And I'm hoping to get more of my art peeps to collaborate with me and do, like, somebody who has maybe lots of acrylic paint, you know, to do one, and somebody who has lots of inks and sprays to do one, and that sort of thing. I'm going to just be focusing on the watercolor one for right now. And I do have I do want to do another one, and I already know for what, with gel crayons and gelatos, but I'm not going to start it right now because I do have a lot of them. You're welcome, Michelle. And I would love to do one on gel crayons and gelatos, but I'm not going to, because I'm going to focus on this one. But I think that would be a good one too. Just gel crayons and gelatos. Okay, so this is from Monday, when we did Monday with Deco Art, and now it's got its coat of the deco page in antique on it and some wax on top of that. So it's all nicely kind of semi-gloss, shiny and sealed. And I just have to change the notes on the back of it and sign it, and it's good to go. And my husband said he likes it, which means two things. One, it's probably a pretty good painting, and two, that's the kiss of death for sales, because whatever he likes never sells. I don't know what the deal is with that. Thank you. Okay, so this morning, I'll tell you what these are in a minute. We're going to put these underneath so that you're not distracted. Thank you. So this morning, if we have time and you guys don't mind watching, I have two paints I'd like to do. We'll see how far we get. So we were sent a set of 12 colors, Mission Gold watercolors from weberart.com. The link is already on my Watercolor Wednesday page on my website. So you can go over there and take a look. And they sent me, their box is so cute. I don't normally like paper boxes, but this one's very nicely presented. And inside of it has the pamphlet in it with all of the light fastness information and translucency, staining, and all of that stuff in a little pamphlet inside with the paints. You don't always get that, so that's nice that that's in there. Now these are tube watercolors. These are, you know, artist grade. Normally come in tubes. So we're going to grab out our 6 colors. And I do have my reading glasses on today because, you know, I can't see without them up close. Not the little print. Okay, so we need yellow, orange, red. They have permanent red, so we'll use that. We've used that before with the Daniel Smith. We need a green. We're going to use Viridian because I think that's the closest green. I think the sap green is too yellow. They have an ultramarine blue and bright clear violet. The colors are, of course, a little different than the other ones we've been using, but that's okay. So I have a little tiny plastic palette that I got for this. These are like 97 cents at Walmart. Not Walmart. Holy cow, Hobby Lobby. I told you guys I need more coffee. So I'm going to just put a little bit. We don't need a lot. In each one of the wells. If you guys have any questions, I do have, you know, the iPad here next to me. I've never tried these before. I've heard good things about them. They're not too expensive. Weber Art is also, it seems to be the owner of the Bob Ross brand and Donna Dewberry. At least they have those on their website. I don't know if they're the owners of or they just sell them. I'm not sure. But they have them on their website. So I would go over there and check them out. Oh, good. Thank you, Michelle. Okay, I've got just a Princeton Select number 8 round brush. And I don't have to recreate a chart because we've already done that here. But what I want to do before I get started is write Mission Gold over here. So I know which one that is. And I'm going to get my brush stamp. And we'll start with the yellow. That's a nice bright yellow, I gotta say. I like that yellow. All right, let's try the orange. I just brushed my hair and I've got little strands of hair everywhere. All right, let's see. Red. So the first thing you want to do is, because this is a comparison, right? So when you're doing these, you know, if you're doing one of these, especially with your friends, you know, you're getting together with them and they have whatever product that you're doing your book on. If they have different ones than you want to, you know, do some kind of in the first section, a chart that compares the one product against the other products, similar colors from each. So you can get an idea of vibrancy and how the paint moves and everything. Now that green's a bit more blue, but that's a pretty green, I gotta say. And the paint is moving really nice on the paper. I think this is the blue. The blue and the purple look black in the little palette. See? They both look black. All right, good. This is a nice ultramarine too, I gotta say. Very nice paints. I don't remember what the price point was, but they weren't exorbitantly expensive. Now this purple is going to be a bit different because it's a different kind of purple, and I put a lot more pigment on there than I did on the other two. Let's see if we can lift some of that. So just take a damp brush that doesn't have too much water on it, and you just do that, and it'll lift up some of the pigment. Rinse the brush off so it's clean and do it again. I want to get a comparison that's similar to the other two swatches. There we go. So those are kind of nice. I like those. Let's give them a quick dry so we can flip the page. When you dry your page with the heat gun, it's going to do this. I'm not too concerned. Okay, so the next section that we have, I'm going to move that out of my way. That's going to, I'm just in one of those moods where everything's bugging me today. All right, so now we have our 4 little houses. So let's do a little house with the Mission Gold. And let's put down here at the bottom the brand of paint. And we're going to start lighter to darker because we're working with watercolor paints, right? Yeah, feel free to ask questions, everybody. If I miss it, Michelle will, she'll get on my case about it. She'll text me if she has to, like yesterday when we did the tests. It was pretty funny. All my admins started texting me because we were having issues. It was like the old days when I was an American Greetings team lead and my phone would just randomly just start going off when there was a problem. All right, so then we're going to work our way darker. cooler. I should say, not say darker, I should say cooler. Using only the 6 colors that we have, that we did the tests with. I gotta say, you guys, I'm pretty impressed with these paints. These are nice watercolors. I think they compare or stand up very nicely to the Daniel Smith and the Schmincke. Michelle, when you decide to like try to go live, or Cindy or Jerry, you guys know I'll play admin. It's the least I can do for all the help you guys give me. But I do have to give a shout out to Lindsay, the Frugal Crafter, and Shannon Green for helping me yesterday with basically YouTube Live for Dummies, helping me figure out how to do this, because otherwise, yeah, we wouldn't be here right now. I'm going to switch all the way to the violet. And I did make notes so that I don't forget what I'm doing. I did that this morning right before we went live. I made notes. I've got to print them, which I haven't done yet because my printer's turned off. I have all my extra devices turned off. We are a device-heavy household, so. Now, this isn't intended to be a perfect little painting. This is definitely, when you do this kind of little painting test, this is just intended to do something with the paints, different paints, a similar image with the different paints. So, you know, maybe you're not confident in your drawing. That's okay. Use a stamped image. You totally can get away with doing this with a stamped image. Stamp with waterproof ink, like Stays On or something, and do it with that. Okay, let's add some blue. And I'm trying to, you know, get the colors in a similar place to what I did the first time. It's not going to, you know, no two paintings are going to be exact, and that's okay. I got to agree with you there. The pigmentation on these paints is fabulous. I would definitely look them up, and, you know, if they're in your budget, this is just a small set of 12. I didn't look before we went live how much it was, but I seem to remember it not being too much. But I mean, you can see them compared to the others. I think they may be a little even brighter. They're definitely brighter than the Schmincke. And they're very comparable to the Daniel Smith. I'm going to go now to green because we've got some green in these. And they were gracious enough to send me these. It's not a paid endorsement, but I did get the products for free. This brand is called Mission Gold. They're by weberart.com. Or that's where this is from, weberart.com. I'm assuming that's the manufacturer. They're called Mission Gold. Mission, what does the little brochure say? Mission Miello, M-I-J-E-L-L-O. Mission Gold watercolors. And they have, look at all the colors they have. I mean, that's just, you know, fabulous, all the colors. Okay, now I lost track of what I was doing. So I'm just lifting a little bit because they're so pigmented, and I want to see how they compare more to like the Schmincke, which isn't so much. Look how bright these are. These are fabulous. I mean, look at that. Now we have, what colors do we have? We had Permanent Yellow Light, which is extremely light fast. Orange. It's just orange. That's all it says is orange. Extremely light fast. No. Good light fast. Oh, and they have it on the tubes. I don't need to look at the brochure. So extremely light fast. The blue's extremely light fast. The red is extremely light fast. The green is extremely light fast. Now the purple's not. The purple's only 2. The purple is only 2 stars, which is limited light fast. But that's true for a lot of purples. Not all purples. And they do have purples that this is bright clear violet. And if you wanted a color that's similar, that's very light fast, then you would get Violet Lake. If you're concerned about the vibrancy really standing the test of time. Okay, another quick dry. And this is just a sample, so if you get a couple of boo-boos on it, it's not, you know, a huge deal. They may drive me crazy, but that's all right. How much are they on those websites, Michelle? Okay, so now we have a new section. So this is Color Wheel. And if you're going to do this kind of a book and you're going to play with different brands, you should one of the things you should do is not see how vibrant they are and not, you know, and how the colors and pigmentation compare to other brands. What about blending? How do they blend? So these are the 2 brands that we already did, using the same 3 colors, the red, the blue, and the yellow. See, I would get them at Cheap Joe's because Cheap Joe's is usually always cheaper. And for artist paints, Teresa, that's not bad at Cheap Joe's, the $48. Especially, look, if you're comparing them to Schminke, somebody look up a 12-tube Schminke set, because I can guarantee, or even a pan set, I can guarantee you the Schminke's more. Cheap Joe's does rock. We love Cheap Joe's. Okay, so this is our color wheel section, and here's two, you know, I already did in pencil. So what I did is I made myself a little template, a kind of a circle. It's not a perfect circle. It's like a circle-y kind of shape. And then I sectioned it off with better brand paint does make painting easier. I agree with you. Okay, so I sectioned off my kind of circle-y kind of weird shape. And into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 sections. So you want 1 section for yellow, blue, and red, and then you want 3 sections in between each color. Make yourself a template that you can just put down on your paper. You can trace around it, and then you mark off little tick marks where each black line is, and then connect them with a straight edge. So I have 2 here. So underneath one of them, we're going to write Mission Gold. And then we're going to write the color names. See, Schmink is a lot more, and these are nice. We're going to do permanent red. So 1, 2, 3. So here, the red will be here. And then we have ultramarine blue. 1, 2, 3. So the whole premise behind this whole series is I know a lot of you are thinking about upgrading your paints a little bit or just getting into it and you have no idea what to do. So I want you to be able to make an educated choice about what paints you're going to buy with the budget that you have. And we will be doing some lesser known brands or lesser expensive brands like Koi. We'll be doing something like that. Okay, so I'm going to start with the pure pigment. Put some clean water in here. And I'm going to put the pure color in this section here. That's a little bit watery. That yellow is really bright, I got to tell you. Now I'm going to need my little mixing plate. All right. And I want to put this here because I want you guys to see what I'm doing. Then I'm going to go with the red. And again, we'll put some water in here. I have the Gansai Tombi watercolors. I know that's not how you say that. So we'll be doing those also. So we're going to do a swatch of the red. Then in between the two, in this center one here, you're going to do a 50-50 or so mix of the two colors, red and yellow. Hey, everybody. Hey, Mark. That's you, isn't it, Mark? MWB. So here we're going to do a 50-50 blend of the red and yellow, or about, you know, it's not going to, this is just practice, okay? Then you're going to take this part of it anyway and add more red to it. And that goes here. And then you're going to take the other part and add more yellow to it. And look at all of those different colors that you get with just two colors of paint. Now this one could be a little bit more on the orangey side. So if I was, I would probably go ahead and do this and just add some more yellow to it while it was wet. I like that color better. Yeah, no, not much lag time. We've got it. I think we got that figured out. I'm going to put some more yellow on the palette because I've used it all up. I think we're good on the red. Okay, so then the next one, we're going to add our blue. Hello from Finland. Hello. So we're going to do a pure swatch of the blue. Now remember, with a lot of these brands, if you want to start getting into some of these fun, you know, really nice artist brand of watercolor paints that you're really loving how pigmented they are and you really want to try working with them, you don't have to buy a set, you know, just buy a tube. You can start out with some of these watercolors with just 3 tubes of paint, yellow, red, and blue. And that's what part of this, you know, practicing is about. Okay, so here we've got our blue swatch. Now in between, again, we're going to do 50-50. We're going to put some red and some blue. Look at this purple. Oh my God, are you guys seeing this? Wait till we get it on paper. Hold on. It's a nice dark purple color. Look at that. Then we're going to take that, and I need more red. Hold on. Some do fall very flat, Teresa. I agree with you. This brand, I can't say that about. Okay, so now we're going to take part of our purple and we're going to add more red to it. And we're going to put it between the first purple and the red swatch. And look at this pretty magenta color that you got. Okay. Now there's no, you know, there's no formula. if you don't want your two swatches to blend into each other, make sure you do what I do and leave a little bit of a line between. Otherwise, you need to mask off your color wheel with masking fluid and let that dry before you can get started. I have no patience, so we're not doing that. So now I'm going to take some of my this purple here, and I'm going to add more blue to it. I think I need to add a little more blue because I think I mixed it up with the other ones too much. And like I said, there's no science. This is just, you know, you're playing and you're practicing mixing colors. Nice. Okay, so now we're going to work on some greens. So we're going to take yellow and blue, make green, right? My dog is just going insane. The neighbor's gardener must be next door. He absolutely hates the gardener. So we're going to put the 50-50 mix here. That's a pretty green. I like that. These colors are very nicely pigmented, I gotta say. And I'm not just saying that. I like all watercolor paints, but okay. So then I'm going to take some of it and I'm going to add more blue to it. Ooh, this is a pretty color. Look at that. And you really look at all these different colors you can make with only 3 tubes of paint. We only have 3, or you only using 3 of the colors that are on here. So now I'm going to take some yellow and add it to the rest of the green. Look at that. So now we're going to give it a dry. Oh, I got a smear of paint. Because, you know, I'm the messy artist, messy, lazy artist. There we go. Let's give it a dry. Don't forget to ask questions if you guys have questions, comments, concerns. That's not bad for individual tubes. Daniel Smith tends to run about 12 to 25. You could use drafting tape, Mark. That's a good idea. Something that would release easily. There you go. This is 140-pound Strathmore watercolor paper. It's cheap and inexpensive when you're doing experiments like this. But of course, if you really are particular about your paper and you like, say, working on arches and you want to know how it's going to look on arches, then, or something like that, then you need to use that paper. Frisket would be good. Yep, if you have any. Okay, so that's one color blending exercise that you definitely should do. Here's another more complicated one. Now, this one I figured out how to do from Sandy Alnock on YouTube. I've already linked her video to our Watercolor Wednesday page on my website, where she talks about how to do this. I'm going to do my best, but no guarantees. I, of course, again, have made a template. This is a 4-inch square. This fits on my page in my book that I'm working on. And so I can just lay this down on here, trace around it, you know, mark off some little tick marks, and then use a straight edge to create all my little squares. So I don't have to like measure stuff out again, because if I have to do too much math, it makes my brain hurt. So I would definitely recommend, if you're going to do a lot of these, to make yourself a little template. These are the first 2 brands that we did. I did these off camera. So I'll show you how I did these. And again, these are only using 3 colors: yellow, red, and blue. And look at all the colors that I got on both of these brands. So let's do this for the Mission Gold. So first thing you want to write the brand. And then, of course, we want to write the names of the colors. I love Canson paper too. My favorite is Fabriano, cold press or soft press. I will talk about that. Yeah, let's talk about that. Okay. We'll talk about that, Lisa, in just a minute. Remind me if I forget before we go off the air, but we have plenty of time. Let's do the color blending first. So when you create your chart, start warm to cool. We'll talk about it actually a little bit right now. So whether you do 3 colors or you do all 6 colors, start warm to cool. Your warmer colors, when you look at them, they evoke the feeling of warmth and sunlight, brightness, light. And the cool colors, when you look at them, you think about coolness and shadow, right? If you look at a traditional store-bought color wheel, which I have handy, hold on. Okay, here's a traditional store-bought color wheel. You can almost divide this in half this way. And look at all the colors on this end. When you look at these, don't you think of summer sun and sunlight and warmth? And when you look at this side, you think of coolness and shadow, right? So that's what, when we're talking about cool colors and warm colors, that's what we're talking about. Okay. Now you can look at specific colors, just greens. And if you look at just green, you can see cool, medium, and warm in just the green. Does that help answer some of your questions? There's a lot more to it than that. That's like really brief. Okay, so let's work on our color blending here. Now, the first thing you want to do, we're going to do our swatches cool to warm, warm to cool. In these first squares, now you want yellow here and here, red here and here, blue here and here. And these squares put a swatch of the pure color. Where these squares meet, where they cross paths, put a swatch of the pure color. Right? I'll show you what I mean. And we're going to take this one step at a time. So first, let's put our yellow here and here. And then where these two meet is yellow. So here. Look at, now I didn't reload my brush. Look at how far that yellow went, and I didn't even reload my brush. Make sure you use a waterproof pen. Now, when we do the red, let's put some more in there. So we would have red here and red here. And then where these two meet, which is here, red. Sandy Alnock explains this probably so much better than I do, so I do recommend that you go watch her YouTube video. Now we're going to do the blue. So blue, blue, and then where they meet, so here, blue. Now, the more colors that you do, the more complicated this gets, and you're really just wanting to get an idea. This is practice. I would recommend starting out with only a few colors, because the more colors that you do, the more confused you're going to get. All right, now in these two squares, the red is meeting the yellow, right? So on this side, the left-hand side of our chart, we are going to blend the red with more yellow. And on the right-hand side, we're going to blend the red with less yellow. So you're going to get two different colors of orange. And again, like the other, there's no, you know, there's no exact rhyme or reason to this. So I'm going to mix my red with a little bit of yellow. This paint really goes on really nice, I gotta say. And then I'm going to mix it with more yellow. And look at the wide range of colors that you can get, just two tubes of paint. Okay, now for this other one, for the purple, you have it meeting a couple different colors. So let's do the green first. Whose, Michelle? Oh, this chart? Did you mean this chart? This, okay. Yeah, you can get you just really don't need a lot of paint. And this is really good practice. I want you guys to think, whatever brand you have, I want you to think about doing this because it's really great practice for showing you, you really don't need a lot of paint colors. So here, I'm going to mix it with more blue and less yellow. Look at that pretty dark green. And then on the other one, I'm going to add more of my yellow. Isn't that pretty? Then on this one is red and blue, right? So we're going to add, I've got some here that's on the blue side, so let's use it. That's a very pretty purple, dark purple. And that's a cool color. That you look at that and you don't think of sunlight and warmth, you think of shadow. So that's a cool color. This one is still cool, but it's warmer. This one is more in the sunlight, right? And for me, I had trouble wrapping my mind around cool and warm until I started thinking of what ones made me think of sunlight and what ones made me think of shadow. Okay, so we're going to take our blue. I'm almost out of red. And I'm going to add more red to it. And look at that. So especially if you're working with paint in particular, if you do a chart like this with just a very limited colors, you get really good practice at what you can and can't do with those limited colors, and you can do a lot more than you think you can. Look at all those. We only had the 3 tubes of paint. Look at all those colors on there. And you could just keep going. It just depends on how much of one color or the other you put in there. Okay, so let's dry this now. Okay, so it's not about how much I'm mixing, Barbie. So when I'm mixing this one, okay, I'm just mixing blue and green, blue and yellow, but I'm just putting more blue than yellow. When I'm mixing this one, I'm putting blue and red, but more blue than red. It's not really about how much I'm mixing. So when I'm mixing, and we're going to do another one, and I'll have my little palette here on camera. I need to wash it off. Hold on. And by wash it off, I mean this. Normally, I would put that paint on a, piece of paper, but let's not do that. So there you go, clean plate. All right, so These little palettes come in handy. There's plenty of paint here. I'm going to let it dry, but I can reactivate it later and I can use it for some kind of random background. So I'm not going to do anything with that. Now, the other two sections I have in here before we do our other paint brand is I put a technique section in here. So I had already made these little cards with different watercolor techniques on them. Scratching in the paint, salt in the paint, plastic wrap in the paint, blending, watercolor over modeling paste, and etc. So I didn't want to redo those tests, but this binder came with these little page protector pages. So I just cut them down a little bit, and I only put one in each so I could see my notes on the back about what I did. We did these really early on in the live Watercolor Wednesdays. So if you want to see how I did them or what I did, it should be in the Watercolor Wednesday or the live playlist somewhere. We can redo them at some point if you guys want. This one is crayon on there first and then watercolor over it. The wax in the crayon is a resist. And then in the back, I decided to do an inventory. So and I'll do this off camera because you don't need to watch me do this, but I basically did a duplicate of the color key out of each palette. So I will be adding the Mission Gold to this. And that way, if I'm out with friends or experimenting or at the store, and I'm looking to add to my collection to maybe have us try something else, something new, I don't want to buy something I already have that we've already done already. But this way I can look in my book and see what I've got, and I can take this with me. So now let's go back to the beginning. And let's do, if you guys are up for it, let's do Mayberry Blue. This one I don't have to use a plate because this one's in a palette. And the Mission Gold will probably never be in a palette just because I can't keep buying metal palettes. I don't have any room to store them. Okay. So while those are like wet a little bit, I'm going to write the names on here and the brand. Now the Mayberry Blue are the artist version of their paint. And I think it's BLU, not B. I was going to put an E on there, but I don't think that's it. That's right. They have another one that's the student grade. And I don't have that one, so I don't know. So I'm going to do primary yellow. See, I don't really have an orange. I have Dragon's Blood, which is a red orange. I guess we'll have to use that because I have this is my collection of Mayberry Blue paints. Hold on. So it's going to, you'll get the idea, but. Oh, who does a Payne's Gray? Mission Gold? I don't have that one. I'm going to need that one. So I don't have the exact same colors. I'm just working with the ones that I do have that are close. You're so funny, Michelle. She gives me the product number. And if you're getting together with friends and you're doing this, you're working on your swatch book and you're having like a swatching party, they may not have all the, same colors in each brand either. Just work with what's close and it will give you an idea of how pigmented the paint is or isn't. How hard it is to get the same kind of color on there. That's mainly what you want to know. Okay, so now we're going to do our swatches. So this is Mayberry Blue. Michelle, can you do me a favor? Kathy, I agree with you. I like her avatar. Can you put up some prices for and places where people can get the Mayberry Blue? I got mine at Dick Blick. So this is a different kind of an orangey red color, but it's what I have, so we're going to use that. And my red is more pink. And the green is more yellow. I mean, you know, they're all off just a little bit. It'll work though. We'll get an idea. Mayberry Blue are generally known as being brighter than a lot of other paints. I think they're made in, I want to say France, but Italy, maybe. M-A-I-M-E-R-I-B-L-U, one word. And then the purple. So there's our first completed comparison page. When you get your first completed page, you should probably sit and make some notes about what your thoughts were about each brand. Now there's all your colors. That's an interesting comparison. I like all of them, but I like paint. Okay, so my empty metal palettes are from Jackson's Art in the UK. There are other places you can get them, but I find the prices are real good at Jackson's Art, and the shipping is sometimes cheaper than I can get it anywhere here in the US. And the little plastic pans I usually get from Cheap Joe's, FYI. Okay, so there's, now they look very different, usually dry than wet, but look at that. That's a nice page. So then we would go to our sample page and we would do another little house. Make sure you're right at the bottom. Oops, see, I did it again. I always want to write blue with an E at the end. And that's not right. That's not how you spell it. Let's just use the whiteout thing. There we go. Mayberry Blue, B-L-U. All right, so let's paint our little house. Look at how bright these are. These are nice. All right, so primary yellow. You're welcome. Yeah, the Mayberry Blue are not inexpensive, I gotta say. I like them, but I bought them one tube at a time, which is why my, box looks the way it does. You guys can't really see it on camera. So I bought these one tube at a time. Every time I go actually to a physical Dick Blick store, I buy a couple more tubes. And that's how I started most of my collection. People think, oh, wow, she must have a lot of money to have all that paint. I go to the store and I buy 1 or 2 tubes at a time. It's taken me years to build up my collection of paint. Okay, so now we're going to go with the dragon's blood. And when I'm painting with my watercolors, the only time you see me really only sticking to one brand is when I'm doing it on camera. because when I'm just painting for me, I use all the brands. So I'm working my way cooler. I'm using the warmer colors, the yellows, the oranges, the reds. We only have 6 colors, so right now is staying with the warmer colors, the ones that make you think of sunlight and warmth, right? When you look at these colors, you think of the hot summer sun, right? We're going to put some red in here. Now the paint's really wet, so things are going to blend on their own, and you're going to get some blooming, and I'm totally okay with that. One of the things I like about watercolor is the unexpected. Yeah, a lot of these paints, unless you have a good budget, you don't have to buy a set. You can just buy a couple of tubes at a time. The sets are nice, and in the long run, sometimes they're cheaper, but you have to have a larger cash outlay at the beginning, and most of us don't have that. So now we're going to work our way cooler. I'm going to skip the green for the minute, which would be the next color in the warm to cool cool to warm spectrum. I'm going to skip the green for a minute, and I'm going to go to violet and blue. And yeah, I hate smartphones for the autocorrect. Drives me up the wall. Now, if you really don't, want to not have any brown show up on your painting, then you probably want to dry your warm colors before you start putting the cool ones on there. I will. That's a good idea, Michelle. I'm okay with some brown showing up on the painting. This is just a practice painting. So one of the other little things that's nice about this little practice painting is you're learning about colors blending and what, secondary or third colors you're going to get, and if you like that or not. And working with, if you want the paint to go a certain way, making sure that part of the paper is wet and the other part's dry. Okay, so now we'll go to the blue. I'm also going to scan these pages, and I'm going to put them up on the Watercolor Wednesday page on my website. So if you guys want to, you'll be able to print and download them. And maybe you have absolutely no access to any other paint brands from anybody. You don't have any art friends. That's okay. You have some virtual art friends, and you can print out these pages that I've made, and you could put them in your book. Okay. Now I'm going to go with my green. You guys are having some discussion about smartphones. Sometimes I think my smartphone's dumb. Either that or its owner is. I'm not sure which. Now I'm purposefully, wanting to get this like dark neutral color here, and I'm getting it by mixing. Everything is wet, so all these primary colors are mixing together. And look at that dark black color that I got by doing that and letting them mix. So you really don't need to have tons of colors in your stash to get an interesting painting. You really don't. I didn't do that so much on this one, but I like the way it turned out on that one. Okay, so let me dry this. Okay, so here is, wait a minute. Hold it. This will be easier. I'll let the picture catch up with me. So I'm gonna scan this and I'll put it on my page on my website. Now we accidentally got all these black, dark gray tones because everything blended together, but you know what? I like that. And it happened very easily. We also got that with the Schminke and the Daniel Smith a little bit. I didn't try to do it so much. Here I was just kind of, I encouraged it. I didn't really encourage it with the Mission Gold, but definitely if you just mix all these colors together, you're going to get something that's black or gray, some kind of neutral. Okay, so next we'll do a color wheel. I agree with you, Teresa. Mission Gold, and you know, you guys know Daniel Smith is my favorite, but I have to say I'm impressed by the Mission Gold paints. Okay, wait, sip of coffee. All right. Now we have to put at the bottom, let's put Mayberry blue. I see I remember to not put the E. Okay, then we'll put the colors. So we have primary yellow. Skip 3 spaces, and then we have primary red magenta. And then skip 3 places, and we have ultramarine deep. Okay. Yeah, Michelle could tell you about sometimes the crazy spelling things that I do. I can't always blame it on spell check. Okay, so now we're going to put the primary yellow. I should say, we're going to put the full strength of the colors in their spaces on our color wheel. So yellow. We're going to put our magenta. We're going to get different colors because this is a different color of red. This is more of a pink than the other swatches. So it'll be interesting. And then our blue. I started down the painting road with watercolors. I stopped doing it for a while and rediscovered a love for it when I started teaching with Journaling Crazy Island style. And I picked it up again. Okay, so there's our 3 colors in their pure form. Yeah. And I definitely encourage you, you know, if you only have one brand of paint, do some of these exercises with the one brand of paint. And like pick 3 different colors each time. Pick a yellow, a red, and a blue each time you do it. Okay, now, okay. I'm trying to arrange things so that hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. I need a clip. Oop. Hang on. All right. That'll work. All right, so now we're going to work with the yellow and the magenta first. So we're going to take some yellow. And then some magenta. About 50-50. So half and half, right? I'm going to add a little more yellow to that because that magenta seems to be really strong. That's a little better. And I'm going to put this color here in the middle between the 2, the yellow and the red, the magenta, leaving a space in between it and the other colors, right? I'm in California, FYI. I guess nobody knew that. Very expensive, bright, sunny San Jose, California. I shouldn't say that too loudly. So I'm going to take some of this color I mixed already that's 50-50, and I'm going to add some more yellow to a little bit of it. And then I'm going to put that color here between the yellow and the first color I mixed. Then I'm going to take this first color I mixed, and I'm going to add more of the magenta to it. And put it there. Look at all those different colors that you get with just 2 tubes of paint. Yeah, I know. I'm not going to talk about it, but yeah, the weather in California, let's just say we need more rain, but I don't think we're going to get it. Not right now anyway. All right, so now we are going to start with, we're going to work with the magenta and the blue. So let's take some more magenta here. A little bit of water. There we go. And some of our blue, like 50-50. Look at that purple that comes up. Look at that. Brilliant purple. Okay. Sorry. I love purple. Can you tell? Where in California are you, Lisa? What city? So look at that beautiful purple, 50-50. Now we're going to take some of our purple and we'll add more magenta to it. It's a pretty purple, right? It's a very pretty purple. So this is like a permanent red, and look, and then ultramarine blue, and look at the purples you get. This is more of a magenta pink color with the ultramarine blue. So depending on which blue and which red you use, you're going to get lots of different colors of purple. All right, so now we're going to take some of our purple. We're going to add some more blue to it. And look at that. Look at that. Aren't those pretty colors? All right. So now we're going to go, and I'm going to turn my plate a little bit. We're going to work with the yellow and the blue. And let's put some yellow. Freezes our face. I'm from here. I don't know about freezing faces. But we're thinking about moving when our daughter graduates. We don't know to where yet. So every place is going to be an adjustment for me because I'm from here. My husband's originally from New York City, so it won't be as big of an adjustment for him. But I've never lived anywhere where it snows or anything like that. All right, so that's halfway, right? So then we'll add some more yellow to part of it. Pigment load looks very good. Look at this beautiful limey color. Now, some colors you'll notice you get this kind of granulation where the pigment tends to settle in the crevices of the paper, and you get this interesting texture in the paint. I love that. No, we're looking for something. I mean, every place is going to have different weather than where I live now, but we're looking for something that's, you know, doesn't get too much snow where it's an issue. Because my husband doesn't want to shovel it. So, so now this is more of the blue, and I can tell by looking at the palette already. Look at this pretty, like, almost Prussian-y blue color that we're getting. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Barbie. Yeah, tell Michelle not to block you. I know Michelle's trying to get me to move to Alabama. That's where she lives. My sister wants me to move to Utah. Cindy wants me to move to, where is it? North Carolina? Okay. So we're going to dry this. Okay, so now we're going to go to this one, and we're going to do our color blending experiment, more color blending. Let's see if I get this. There we go. To hold. Maybe. Maybe not. There we go. Okay, so now we're going to do this again, and we're going to, we need to write our colors on there first. Remember to put, you know, your notes on here, the brand, the colors. If you have a mind like mine that forgets things 2 seconds after you say them or they happen, you need to make notes. I won't tell you guys what the weather is here. You could Google it if you want. It's disgustingly warm outside and sunny. Okay, so now we're going to do the same test again. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to put our pure color pigments right on this underneath the name and where those two squares meet. Just like before. And the more you do this, the easier it'll be for you. You'll have to think about it less. Good night, Rena. I'm sorry it's so late there. Is it? I'm assuming if it's bedtime, it's probably late. See, my pen wasn't completely dry. It's bleeding into the paint, but that's okay. Now we're going to do the primary magenta. We're device heavy here, Lisa. We all have iPhones and iPads, but sometimes they don't want to talk nice to each other when I'm trying to do my nightly, you know, social media thing. My phone doesn't want to share pictures with the iPad, so then I'm trying to do it on the iPhone, and it's just a pain in the neck. There's just no other way to be nice about it. It's a pain in the neck. I know you guys are talking about weather. I'm missing the weather discussions. I have some friends that just moved to New Mexico. Okay, so there we've got our primary colors. We have them on the color name, and where those two squares meet, those two lines meet, we have it there also. So now let's start with the magenta. Here we'll do magenta and yellow because they're meeting right here. But we're going to do more magenta in this one and more yellow in this one. So we're going to just use what's on our plate. And this color here that's on the plate, if I just mix it together like that, is more on the magenta side than the yellow side. So we'll just put that here. And then we're going to take some of our yellow, more yellow, and we're going to add it to some of that. And we'll put that here. Look at that pretty orange color that came out. That's nice. All right, so then we're going to switch this around, and we're going to do our our greens. So here we're going to do the blue with the yellow, but we're going to have it be more blue. So we're going to just mix all these together that are on here. We'll get a color that's about what we want, which is very pretty and very similar to the Mission Gold color. And then we're going to take some yellow and mix more yellow to some of that. And put that here. That's a pretty color. It was 83 degrees here yesterday. I know you all hate me now. You're all talking about the weather, so I'll just throw that in there. You can Google it. It's been between 75 and like 83. Since the Super Bowl. I think Super Bowl Sunday it was like 77. I only live like a town away from where the Super Bowl was. I used to actually live down the street from where Levi Stadium is. Back before Levi Stadium was there. Okay, so we're going to make... Sorry. Okay, so we're going to make more of a blue purple, and we're going to put this here. We need some more water. It's getting a little dry, so let's add some water to it. Look at that. It's pretty. And then we're going to take some of our magenta and add more magenta to it. Now, if you were mixing colors for a painting, it's a great idea to have a swatch of or a little scrap of paper to try the swatches of what color you're mixing on, to wipe it on and to see if the color is what you want. So that's how you do those and how you do the color mixing. And you want to do this with all the different brands. In summer, we're usually between like 75 and 95. We usually, in a normal summer, we'll have 3 or 4 days that are 100 plus, but usually not too many. The last summer, though, as you all know, if you watch the news, it's been unusually hot in California and, of course, dry. But we don't usually get like over 120, like that, like Arizona. Like if we get to like 105, we think we're dying, and that only happens for like maybe a day. So these are our 2 new colors, Mayberry Blue, or brands, Mayberry Blue and Mission Gold. And I haven't met a paint brand I don't like. Let's be honest. I will be adding, thank you. I will be adding, a full color key to the back like I did with the other 2 brands that we put in here. I won't make you sit and watch me do that. But I do think that, the idea of a swatching party, if you have friends who have, say, watercolors, they probably have different brands than you do, or even if you have the same brand, they might have different colors. So get together and all of you work on your swatch books and do some of these tests in your swatch books. Even if you only have one brand, do some of these exercises and practice your color blending, because you really truly do not need tons of, I love color. I hate color blending generally as a rule. That doesn't mean I don't know how. And even though I have lots of paint, sometimes I still don't have the right color. It's a handy thing to know, and it's a fun exercise. Especially, this is a great exercise for those days when maybe you are at a loss and you're having a creative block. Then just do some color charts and color blending experiments. I'm going to do Winsor Newton. We're already at an hour, almost an hour and a half. So I don't know how long you guys want to be on. I do have a small 12 color set of Winsor Newton. This is my set I use with my mixed media. So they're kind of, grungy, but I do have a set of Winsor Newton, a pocket set. And I also have, this is a set of Van Gogh colors that I have. So these will be next. I have paint samples coming from a few other companies. I have, including Grumbacher is sending some paints, so I hear. And so when these paint brands come in, I will be swatching them for you. Like I do, of course, like you've seen, I own Winsor Newton, and I own Van Gogh, and I own, wait, well, there's one more. Is this a mixed palette? I will be doing these too. These are the Gonzai Tombi colors. And this is a mixed bunch of colors, including Coir is on here. So there's a few Coir colors on here. So we'll be picking those out and doing those too in future episodes. Yeah, we're gonna do these, and so we're gonna try to do 2 per video until we get through, at least through my collection and what people send me. I think 2 is a lot. If you have specific brands, hold paint picture with Mission Gold. Paint a picture. Oh, well, yeah, I can do that. Definitely, I can do that. Not right now because we've been on a long time, but once we get through this book, we will be doing paintings with some of these paints in my watercolor journal. And what we'll do is we'll pick a different brand every week and we'll do a painting with it, with the exception of Daniel Smith, because the Daniel Smith we've already done a million times. So I think once we get through the paint brands I have and the ones I get sent, then we'll go back to the beginning. And we'll pick brands that we've done this with, and we will do a painting with like the Schmink. We've already done a lot of paintings with Daniel Smith, so we won't do that. But we'll do a painting with the Mission Gold. We'll do a painting with the May Mary Blue, and all the different brands that we have. And if I forget, you guys message me. Lots of you are in my Facebook group, so message me and say, hey, because, you know, I forget stuff a lot. You're welcome, and I'm very happy that we're doing this here instead of anywhere else. I'm very pleased with the YouTube Live. It was a little tricky to set up, but oh, you did the same one. The only problem I have with this, I can already tell, Michelle, is that it doesn't have a very big spine. So I may actually have to buy on Amazon like a mini binder with a 2-inch spine because it's already getting pretty full. But yes, so we're going to work on our product review swatch book. And as soon as we get through most of the brands, then we're going to go back, and using this as a reference, then we're going to go back and we're going to do paintings with each brand. Yeah, the dividers stuck out the end and they drove me crazy. So if when you see me next, Michelle, live and in person, and I have a different binder, you'll know why. This is not the new video camera. We are doing this with my new HD webcam, and it does not zoom, but the picture's pretty clear. I can hold the book up, though, for you guys so you can see. Well, how about this way? My new webcam, my new video camera will be in Thursday. So these are the 2 we did today, and these are the first 2. I'm impressed by these. I'd never heard of them before. One of you asked me if I could see if I could get some and do a test with them. You know, there's a million paint brands out there, and I don't know them all, but I'm pretty impressed. And you know, a 12 color set, you really, even if you decide to get a set and you want to get a set of nice quality paints, you don't need a ton of colors. This is only 12 colors. And where is it? Cheap Joe's, I think that Michelle said had them for $48. They come like this. Now you're going to need a palette to stick them in because there's no palette here. Let's see if I can get these back in the order they were in. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. Okay. So a lot of times watercolor sets will come like this with just the tubes, and they don't always come with a palette. And if you get them with a palette, they're more expensive. So, you know, you'll have to have something to put them in. At the very least, something like this that you can squeeze a teeny bit in and while you're using them. You're welcome. So you guys can set up with your friends some swatching parties, and you know, get on the Facebook group. We have over 1,000 members now, and we're growing quickly. And see if you can find some art friends that are near you to get together to do a swatching party. And you know, you guys can compare paint brands. This is my website. You can get information on the Facebook group, information on the companies we've talked about today, and all of that stuff here. All right, you guys go out and have a great day and do something nice for yourself because you deserve it. And I will see you later. And this video should be up on YouTube in just a matter of a few minutes for those of you who want to watch it and review it later. You guys have a great day too. See you later.